Yeah, hi there. These comments are for 7953. This is Michael. I am the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons, and you're completing the pronunciation post-test for my online course called the 7-Step System to pass the TOEFL IBT. Let's hear what you have to say. And I think if I remember correctly, you're reading 3 paragraphs out loud, and then you're answering 3 specific questions. So that way I can get an idea of your overall speaking and pronunciation fluency. All right, here we go.
When two people are talking to each other, they tend to stand a specific distance apart.
Okay, with that one word you want to say specific, the SP together, specific distance apart.
Each person has an invisible boundary around his or her body into which other people may not come.
So the word there is not body, but it's body, body. That's a vowel sound you want to be careful about. The versus the O, not body, but body.
If someone passes this boundary, she or he will feel uncomfortable and move away to increase the distance between them.
Now usually when you have a word like move and then a preposition after that, you want to blend the final sound of the verb with the first letter of the preposition or the first sound, so it's not move away but move away.
The major exception is family members and other loved ones. This personal distance is not due to body odor or bad breath.
You want to say body, odor. So some problems with your vowel sounds, you're sometimes not sure whether to say or o, o.
But because closeness lends a sense of intimacy that is at odds with the relationship to the other individual.
So with the reading of the paragraph, you're having too many pauses in there. You're not blending and not pausing after each thought group. Each thought group should be approximately 4 to 5 stressed words.
Interestingly, the average personal distance varies from culture to culture. Americans tend to require more personal space than in other cultures.
It almost sounded like you put an S after 10, but Americans is plural, so then you have to say Americans tend to require more personal space.
Therefore, if you try to get too close to an American during your conversation, he or she will feel that you are in his face and will try to back away.
A little bit of trouble with the W sound, the rounding of the lips, it's will try to back away.
Try to be aware of this. So, if the person to whom you are speaking backs away a little, don't try to close the gap. Also, try to avoid physical contact while you are speaking.
You want to say there, avoid physical contact, and then you had trouble with the word while. So it looks like the W sound is a little bit tough for you. The vowel sound also.
Since this may also lead to discomfort. Touching is a bit too intimate for casual agreement.
You're having trouble with that word there. It's intimate. Touching is a bit too intimate.
So don't.
Let's go back to those 2 sounds.
Intimate for casual acquaintances. So
again, you're having trouble with that sound. It's kind of like a J and a Z together. We call it a palatal consonant. Casual acquaintances.
Don't put your arm around his or her shoulder. Don't touch his or her face or hold his or her hand. Shaking hands when you initially meet or part is acceptable, but this is only momentary.
Okay, now you're going to answer the 3 questions in Part B.
My best friend is Lisa, who was my classmate last quarter. I have two reasons. At first,
So 2 reasons why, you might want to say. Or she is my best friend for 2 reasons. To put that sentence after those 2, it's a little bit basic grammar there. You want to show a little bit more complex grammar in your speech.
she is helpful. For instance, my weakness is English grammar, but she is good at grammar. Once I have questions about English grammar.
Now wait a minute. Let me check your verb tense.
Once I have questions.
No, it's once I had questions. I wouldn't say have there. So you're using present tense verb there to talk about a past tense action.
About English grammar, she explains to me immediately.
And again, she explained to me immediately.
And also, she is always patient with my questions. In addition, she always makes me laugh because of her humorous. For example,
You want to say because of her humor. You want to use a noun there, not an adjective, because you're using of, which introduces a noun phrase, so you need an object there, not an adjective.
I was sad because I missed my family, and then she made a very comical picture for me. The picture made me laugh, and I became happy. That's why she is important to me.
That was a good example there, and you did better with controlling your verb tenses near the end of the speech. So sometimes during your response about your friend, you're using the simple present. She always does this, always does that. That makes sense. So you're using the simple present to talk about a habitual action, something that your friend does a lot, right? Frequently. And then in other cases, you are using the present tense to talk about something which had a clear beginning and end in the past, so you want to be careful about that. So you are having some problems with your verb tenses.
Second question. I will work at an accounting firm after.
So your question here is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What will you be doing?
5 years and be an accountant in this company. For now, I'm a
Accountant's a good job, by the way.
Who specialize in accounting at Cal State San Bernardino. I will spend 2 years to finish my master's degree. When I graduate from this university, I will look for a job which is related.
So it's that word, the W sound. I will. That definitely, the W consonant is difficult for you. There's no question about it.
Related to accounting. At the same time, I will do my best to pass CPA exams.
That's a difficult exam.
I will get CPA license and also have work experience. Then I'm sure I will be a professional accountant.
I'm sure you will too. I bet you'll be a good accountant too.
The last question. My favorite season is spring because of the moderate winter and spring vacation.
A little bit difficult with the word moderate. Moderate. So you're trying to almost put the same stress on every syllable, but a word has what's called primary stress. You want to make that syllable clearer, louder, longer, and higher pitch. So I would say moderate instead of moderate. It's almost like you're looking at the word or reading the word, and then you're trying to sound out the word there, but it doesn't sound very natural.
At first, the weather in spring is not cold and
the TH sound, the weather, not weather, but weather, the weather. So put your tongue between your teeth, weather.
Also not hot. For example, I can take exercise outside in spring. The temperature.
I can take exercise. I don't think a native speaker would say that. We would say I can complete exercises outside, or I can exercise outside. But usually a native speaker is not going to say take exercise.
It's very comfortable to take exercise, but we can do it in the summer because the temperature is very, very high. Additionally,
I exercise during the summer every day. So I don't think just because it's the summertime we cannot exercise. So I think that you might be making an overgeneralization there. In fact, a lot of people do more exercise during the summer than they do any other month of the year. So what we do is we get up early. We get up early before the sun comes up. For example, I run in the mornings at 4:30. That way I don't have to worry about the sun.
Student, we have spring vacation. I can travel at that time. I went to Yosemite International Park last
You're stressed there. Yosemite National Park.
spring vacation. It's very a beautiful place. I enjoyed my spring vacation. That's why my favorite season is spring.
Okay, I think we got it. So what we want to do now is I'm going to give you an intelligibility score, which gives you an idea of how easy or difficult it is for a native speaker to understand what you're saying. And secondly, I do want to recommend some lessons I think that you can continue to focus on in the pronunciation part of my course so that you can continue to make improvements. Okay, so your intelligibility score here, I'm going to give you about 3.0 out of 7. So with your pronunciation, it's not just some of the pronunciation difficulties I pointed out, but you're also having trouble with your word choice, with your grammar. Like I said, sometimes you're not sure whether to use an adjective or a noun. That's a question of word forms. What is the right word in the right position in the sentence? So you want to use it with the right ending. So you're struggling with that a little bit. In terms of your intelligibility, I think it's a little bit difficult for native speakers to understand what you're saying. So you have some vocabulary and grammar limitations. You also have pronunciation limitations, which are making it difficult for native speakers to understand you. Now, here's what I recommend. I think you really need to take a look at several different lessons here. Speak Clearly lesson number 8, the ah and the o. You clearly are having difficulty distinguishing between these two vowel sounds. I would say really take a look at that. The next one is lesson number 24, the TH sound, as I pointed out. You are having difficulty with that particular sound. So the TH, for example, the word these, them, that particular sound. Now, some other areas that I think you need to focus on is in the other part of my pronunciation course, word stress, lessons 29, 30, 31, and 32. I think you really need to focus in those areas. Also, sentence rhythm, lesson number 33, 34, and 35. You're really having trouble with your sentence rhythm. You're trying to put almost equal stress on every word, and that's not what we do when we're speaking English. I think you can also work on your tone, lesson 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. And then finally, you can work, as I pointed out, on your blending and your thought groups. And that's lesson number 41, 42, 43, and 44. Alrighty, so now you know what your intelligibility score is. And you also know specifically which lessons in my online course you need to review in order to strengthen your pronunciation. So if you want to speak clearly and improve your pronunciation, I very strongly recommend that you go through these lessons. Now, each of these lessons have some exercises, some recording exercises. Be sure you do all recordings. You can record these at my Better TOEFL Scores Voxy Pop Talk group. And it's very important that you begin to monitor your own pronunciation, because that's how you actually make improvements. Because you have to be aware what your own problems are. I mean, I've pointed them out right now in this video, but until you become aware of these things, it's difficult to make progress. Now, in addition to working at my online course in the pronunciation section, I think you also need to improve your vocabulary and your grammar proficiencies. And you can do that also at my online course by going through all my vocabulary and my grammar lessons. So anyway, thank you for completing the post-test. And I've enjoyed having you as a student, by the way, this quarter at California State University, San Bernardino. And keep up the good work.